Hey, what's up everyone? This is Music Tech Help Guy. I've got more of a budget-friendly review and unboxing for you today. A lot of people have been saying everything you review is too expensive. Everything you review is over $1,000. So let's do something a bit more affordable. And today we're gonna check out the Comica AD5 audio interface. So this is a budget-friendly audio interface. It has two mic inputs or line level inputs. I think they do instrument level input as well. It's got speaker outputs, left and right speaker outputs in the back. It also has a whole bunch of other I/O for connecting to portable devices, iOS devices, your phones, your tablets, things like that. It also has a built-in denoiser that you can turn on or off. It has a loopback feature, which is really cool. Not too many two-channel interfaces have loopback. So if you're trying to do screen recordings or podcasts or do streaming or gaming, loopback is really helpful to have for those situations. Now, I have not tried this out yet. It's completely still in the package, still shrink wrapped. So instead of sitting here and talking to you guys anymore, I'm going to just unbox this and go through the features as I discover them in real time. The Comica AD5 goes for $189 on Amazon, and I'm being told that this just came out. So this is a brand new product. All right, let's open this thing up. There it is. Let's pull it out. You know, it actually has a pretty decent build quality, and the sides, they're sort of like this matte faux metal finish, but the top is actually metal. So it's got this screen here, which I just smeared up. So let's see what's in the box here, this little box that is. So we've got a TRRS to TRRS audio cable, probably for connecting your phone. We've got our USB-A to USB-C. And then we've got another USB-A to USB-C. And that's it. I don't think there's anything else in here except for the manual. So here is the unit. On the front, we've got two mic or line inputs, or instrument inputs, because there's an instrument button here. So these accept XLR or TS or TRS. We've got phantom power for both channels. Like I said, instrument level input for both channels, gain controls for both channels. And then we have a front-facing headphone jack, direct monitoring, loopback mode, and a monitor controller. So I'm assuming that this monitor controller is the headphone volume, not the speaker output volume, because it would seem a little silly to have to grab it from here. But we'll see, because on the top there's this mix knob, a screen. I'm not sure if this is touch screen or if this is just the display screen, a mode button, which I'll have to figure that out in just a bit. And then on the back, let's flip this around, we have speaker outputs, so TRS left and right line outputs, rear-facing headphone jack. I believe this is an auxiliary input for inputting like a stereo signal from a phone or a tablet or something like that, which is, you know, this TRRS form, I believe. There's also another auxiliary output. And then we have two USB-Cs for connecting to devices. So one of the things I read about this is it actually supports being connected to more than one computer or more than one device at the same time. So you can connect it to two different computers. And then this is for charging or for battery. So here's the thing. This interface actually has a built-in battery. So if you are connecting it to something that cannot provide power, like a tablet or a phone, this has a 6-hour battery in it. So you can charge it and then you can just take it wherever you want to go. And it's sort of quasi-portable. The question I have is, if I hook this up to my laptop or my iMac over USB, will that power the unit alone? I hope so, because if it doesn't, that seems kind of redundant to have a separate battery or a separate power connector just for power, especially for a small format interface like this. I mean, I know it has a lot of features, it really has a lot of I/O on it for a small format budget interface. But if this isn't bus powered over USB, I'm going to be a little disappointed. So let's jump over to my laptop. I'll hook this up. We'll get it set up. I'll make a test recording in Logic, and we'll explore some of these other features. Okay, I'm back. I've had a couple of days to play around with this thing and get used to the controls. There are some good things about this product, but unfortunately, there are overwhelmingly more bad things about this product to the point where I cannot recommend this audio interface for anyone trying to make musical recordings. The vast majority of my subscribers are music composers, musicians, musical artists, beat makers, music makers. I cannot recommend this product at all for music making. It may be a decent or okay, somewhat okay product for like podcasting or streaming, but this product has so many fatal flaws that just make it completely unusable as a musical audio interface, something that's meant for recording. I'm going to go through those fatal flaws because there's quite a few of them, but let me go through a few of the features that I do like, albeit there are few of them. Number one, the USB cables. They're really good USB cables. They're USB-C to USB-A, but they're actually like these little connectors that pop off, and so it goes USB-C to USB-C, and then you pop that on, it's a little adapter built into the cable, and it comes with two of them. So this is something that more companies need to do. I think this is a great idea, but again, a USB cable is not going to save a bad interface. Now, I do want to talk about the denoise feature in this a bit and show you that I am currently recording all of my dialogue through the AD5 right into Logic here on my laptop, and I have zero processing on my voice. So you're just hearing the direct signal from the microphone to the AD5 into Logic. I've also got the AC blaring in the background on purpose so that I can demonstrate the denoise feature. So it's not really a touch screen, but these three buttons do allow you to access the screen. So you have mute, which just mutes all audio sources. Effects, we'll get back to that in a second. And then denoise, you just click on this. So this is pretty cool because you can hear that all of the background noise is gone. It's sort of like a denoiser and gate all in one. The only problem I have with this is I think the gate is a little too strong because it's cutting down to nothing, and the front end of my words are getting cut off a bit. So it's almost like the attack time of the gate is a little too slow or something. Or instead of just cutting down to nothing, make the gate like a 50% gate. Or give you, control over the denoise function. You could dial in how much of it you want, especially if you're far away from the mic. You'll find that the audio doesn't all get picked up as well. So you have to be pretty close to the mic. And I can see this being a pretty helpful feature if you're doing podcasting work or streaming work, but it's just a bit too strong for me to even use it. As far as the effects, they're nothing special. You just click the effects button and you can switch between three different EQs. So this is the deep EQ, this is the natural EQ, and this is the bright EQ. And then you just press again, and the EQ is turned off. The reverb, for some reason, is labeled REB instead of REV. You just press and hold on the effects button. It switches over to the reverbs. And then here's a room reverb. Here's a stage reverb. And here's a hall reverb. And then press again to turn off the reverb, and I can press and hold on effects to go back to the EQ selection. Here's the problem. There's no control for how much reverb you want. It just turns on a reverb. There's no wet-dry blend. I don't know of anyone who actually wants reverb on an audio interface. Maybe the EQ, again, for podcasting or streaming. Maybe if you're using it just as a quick effect or something. Not my thing. I think you can just get rid of the entire effects section on this thing, and it'll be fine, and just focus on maybe fine-tuning the denoiser a bit. Let's get to some of the big flaws, because I haven't even gotten to the worst part of this yet. The first fatal flaw is it's not bus powered. I was just completely blown away when I found out it wasn't bus powered. So right now I've got about a third of the battery life left, and it keeps creeping down even though I have it connected to the laptop. So you have to charge this thing, and it does have like a decent battery life. That's not the problem. The problem is if you're using this for recording, you're going to have to hook up one USB cable to your computer for signal and then another one for power. And I thought they were just being generous by giving two USB cables, but the reality is you need two USB cables in order to use this, unless you're just constantly charging it when you're not using it. So that's a huge fatal flaw. It's not bus powered. A 2-channel interface like this should be bus powered. The second fatal flaw is actually a combination of flaws. The monitor knob down here is actually the main speaker and headphone control. You got that right. They're not separate. What I was thinking was the mix knob on the top is your speaker control, and the monitor control is the headphone control. This monitor knob on the side controls both the speaker volume and the headphone volume simultaneously. What if you want to just turn down your speakers, but then pull up the headphones for recording, and then when you're done recording, pull down the headphones, or just leave the headphones as is, and then pull back up the speakers? So what you're telling me I have to do if I want to make musical recordings is I have to unplug the speaker cables when I'm recording to not get a bunch of feedback. That's, again, a massive oversight. The mix knob is exactly what it sounds like. It's a mix blend between your direct signal and your input monitor signal. So I can see how having a mix blend could be helpful for, again, streaming and podcasting, but it's not something that anyone making musical recordings would ever use. In fact, it's so bad, it's so badly implemented that the mix blend knob actually is tied to the recording signal. So if I pull down the mix blend knob, you'll see that my dialogue gets softer and softer, and now you're hearing nothing because I got the mix blend all the way down, and you're just hearing camera audio right now. And if I pull this up, it affects the recording signal. So you have to stage the microphone, the gain on the microphone, plus you have to stage the mix blend when you're recording, which is just, oh, that's horrible. That's horribly implemented. Okay, so the yard guys showed up outside, so I think what I'm going to do is just put the denoiser to the test here. Okay, so the monitor issue and it not being bus powered, those are two pretty big issues, but I can kind of sort of get around those. You know what I mean? There's solutions to those. However, this next one is completely unfixable, and this is why the main reason why I would never recommend this audio interface to anyone who is trying to make musical recordings, and I wouldn't even really recommend it to anyone, even who's using it for podcasting or for streaming. The microphone input. Right now, I have a condenser mic plugged in. This is an Earthworks Icon. I've got phantom power turned on, and I've got the gain all the way down. This is the lowest setting, and then to dial it in, again, you have to use your mix knob to sort of dial in the gain in my DAW recording. And it's not just that I have to use the two controls in tandem, it's that the gain is so high on the microphone inputs, there's not a lot of wiggle room. Like if I tried to sing into this mic, it would distort. Like watch what happens. I'm just going to pull up the mic gain just a little bit. So eventually it's going to get to the point where it just distorts and sounds like garbage. And the other thing is that the display, no matter how low I set the mic gain, the level meter on mic 1 here is clipping. It's showing that it's in the red. I don't actually believe that the signal is clipping. I think it's just a software issue, like the way they built the meters, like the meters are calibrated wrong. And I have a feeling that when they tested this, they were testing it with dynamic mics only. So they needed all this extra gain to have a clearer dynamic mic signal. But unfortunately, when you plug in a condenser mic, it's basically unusable for anything other than spoken word, for dialogue. If I were to play guitar in front of this, if I were to put this mic in front of a guitar amp or any loud instrument, it would be unusable. It would just be a distorted mess. So you're kind of stuck with only dynamic mics with this unit, or dialogue if you're using a condenser mic. So those are the 4 fatal flaws with the AD5, and why I cannot recommend this interface to almost anyone. So if you're looking for a budget-friendly 2-channel audio interface that's around $200, don't buy this. Go check out any of the Focusrite Scarlett products, check out the Universal Audio Volt, check out the SSL2 Plus. All of those products are around $200, maybe $30, $40, $50 more than this. And those may not have all of the features that this one does, but I guarantee you that any of those products will do a better job than the Comica AD5 does. The thing about this interface is it has some really great ideas. There's some really great ideas, some really great features packed into this. The problem is the implementation is horrible. And here's the thing. This version of the AD5 as is not something that should be a product that's available to buy right now. This, to me, is like a prototype that needs a little bit more fine-tuning, and then it would actually be a half-decent product. If we can fix those 4 things that I talked about, it wouldn't be half bad, and I'd actually be pretty impressed right now instead of disappointed. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. As always, thank you so much for the support, and thanks for watching.